Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Blue Collar Workers. I'm Sean, John, or Yahya, as many of you are already aware, and you are well aware of who this cretin is.
I'm Chris, despite the straggly beard twat says so. There you go.
And I have tried for months now.
A year.
Yeah, actually. The indefensible Count Daedalus, which is Daedalus.
Daedalus.
Because I get it wrong. Onto our podcast for a British political podcast, and I am very, very pleased to finally have managed to brought you.
You're a persistent one.
I am because
Very persistent.
He is.
I'm surprised you didn't turn around and tell him to bugger off and block him.
I like him.
To be fair, I'm one of his favourite Muslims. Apparently,
You are.
I'm probably the only fucking Muslim he knows.
No. I know quite a few.
We're here today to speak about the various politics of here in the UK, especially when it comes towards the death of the young boy,
Henry Nowak.
Henry Nowak.
Is it Nowak or Novak?
Novak, something like that, his surname, who was tragically lost his life in the pursuit of just going out, as a young boy does in this country. Put aside, Britain, the conversation about the Sikh blade, which this is the first criminal offence that has happened since I've done the research. In 130 years, the Sikhs have been in the UK. This single criminal action of that blade. So that's to be put at the side. For me, it's the fucking law. Okay? I work in the security industry. My licence will be gone. If someone dies under your care, my licence is revoked immediately. Even if it was an accident and the person died by an accident. For the death of someone, I would lose my licence. I'd have to reapply for my licence. I would have to do everything from the scratch downwards. If someone says, I can't breathe, even if they are violent or of consideration of a threat of loss of life, you have to alleviate them. Why isn't this application done towards the police?
Absolutely no idea. You'd think they would. Like honestly, I'm surprised that the police haven't been put in prison, to be honest, after that.
Because it's mad. He was given the option to resign. One of them has fucking resigned.
One of them's resigned. I don't think there's two others.
Two others are just under suspension. How in the fuck of Jesus, on a motorbike, skidding down a fucking motorway to make the Count laugh, is these motherfuckers have still got jobs? How does the commissioner still have a fucking job?
I honestly don't know. I still don't get why they cuffed the one that was dying.
Yeah, the thing, I've watched the footage back and forth so many times now, and every single time it makes me even more angry.
No, it does.
You spot something that wasn't there, and a couple of days ago I made a video about it because I didn't realise it. When the police get there, the first thing that they hear is Digwa Senior, who's the father. He's telling them that he's trying to keep Henry up because his mouth keeps on filling with blood. And they dismiss that.
So the good Sikh, the father, the noble gentleman, basically tries to safeguard.
I mean, they're all kind of complicit in trying to cover up what his son's done. But he at least tried to do something where he says that.
So you think he's complicit then?
I think they're all complicit because they all came up and the first thing they did was try and hide the knife.
Okay, I have not seen the video, so I don't know. I just know from what I've read from the page.
No, it's based on what was going on in the in the court, in the crime report and the court.
Okay.
And it seemed that they were all in some ways complicit with trying to cover up what had happened. But at the same time, his father did say that his mouth was filling up with blood, and he's just trying to keep him upright because he's sort of swaying and sort of falling over. But that was the first thing the police heard when they got on the scene. It's the first bit of dialogue that is said when you get there. And
how in the fuck of Jesus do these people have jobs? All of them. The fucking sergeant in charge should have lost his licence. The fucking coppers themselves should be looking at prison sentences. It boils my fucking blood. And I'm a fucking I'm a Muslim. I have a problem with this. And it's not like it's a religious thing. Because as I said, the Sikh blade thing, this is the first case we've had of it in 130 years. We can put that to the fucking side. That's not even a start.
I thought it was always a case of fact. If you're the copper attend the scene, regardless what you're doing, you have to have a duty of care for every single person.
No, absolutely. That's the entire fucking thing that the Home Office instructs everybody in the security industry.
Like it doesn't matter what the situation is. You have a duty of care of whoever's there.
Absolutely. It's barking fucking crazy that this young boy died in their. It was a preventable death.
Yeah.
And this is what the police force are dodging. It was a preventable fucking death.
And he was on the floor. Obviously, he's got a punctured lung. And the fact that they sort of just drag him across the bloody gravel, that's probably made it even worse.
Oh, I haven't seen the video.
There was a Polish, what are they called? Might be a coroner, but there was a Polish doctor or something who came out and reviewed what had happened and said that, specifically pointed that out, that the fact that they dragged him across the gravel while he was on the floor, is that probably didn't help either. Because you've got a punctured lung, you're extremely
Everybody involved
vulnerable.
in the police should be fired at a bare minimum.
Every single one of them.
Every single one of them. From the fucking officer who sent these imbeciles, who were clearly not trained to deal with preservation of life first.
Right,
Regardless
Commissioner.
I'm not even going into the racist bollocks, okay, about the racial discrimination, because it's not that deep, relatively speaking. I know from you and Chris's point of view, you think that that's an important factor. I don't. The basic thing, regardless of skin colour, from a black and white point of view, there's a duty of fucking care that should absolutely apply first and foremost.
Yes.
The racist thing is a point, and I know the two-tier policing system can be argued for and against. I'm not necessarily think it's that deep. It's the duty of fucking care that pisses me off the more. Because, relatively speaking, the police officers have a duty of care to an alcoholically inebriated teenage boy who has said, I can't breathe. And that's the thing.
Why didn't they call the ambulance straight off the bat since you had
that should be the
That's the first thing they should have done.
Yeah.
The minimal fucking
That's just basic common sense, and how a copper does not have that.
He was saying that as well. There's one while he was gasping for fucking breath. He was saying, "I need an ambulance. I need an ambulance." And what was it? The fucking police officer said, "It's like, where have you been stabbed? Don't think you have, mate." It's like,
fuck me. So is he the guy who quit? Is that the one who says, "I don't think you have, mate"?
I don't know which one has quit. I'm not sure. I didn't actually look to see which one has quit, but one of them has quit. It might have been him.
Because they should all be fired. The whole three of them.
Yeah.
Because did any one of them say, from what you know of the reviews of the video, since you reviewed the video, did any of them say, should we call an ambulance?
I don't think so. No, because they took the thing that pissed me off the most was Vikram Digwa, the guy that did it. Like not once did they cuff him. To my knowledge, not once did they cuff him. They took him to the police station, and because police stations have kitchens, they let him pick his own food uncuffed. They did not treat this guy like he was a criminal at all.
Nah. You see, now that's where the two policing tier system, probably your argument is much stronger. For me, it's a duty of care to start with.
It's also a duty of care.
I mean, this young boy has claimed that he needs an ambulance, he's hurt, and the fucking stupid coppers haven't called an ambulance. I don't understand how that doesn't become the first thing you do, even if you're cuffing him. Even if you could argue you're cuffing him for safety, you should have called the fucking ambulance.
I do think there is an ideological problem in policing as a whole. It comes down to the race thing, and I base that purely off of like the gangs in the north, the rape gangs, and the way that thousands and thousands of young girls were treated purely because the victims happen to be working class and white, and the perpetrators overwhelmingly seem to be foreign. And
do you know what the scary thing is? And I as we're drifting into this, I need to say this. You do know, Count, if we, the Muslim community, were granted those men, no ethnic Pakistani would ever look at another white girl.
No.
Because we'd fucking hanged a lot of them.
Yeah.
Which
I completely agree with.
In Islam...
Even in Pakistan recently, there was a case with there was like a French tourist.
Yeah.
And she broke down on the side of a motorway. She was with her kids. No, she wasn't with her husband. It was just her and her two kids. And two Pakistanis came up to her and basically raped her at gunpoint. They got hanged. Yeah, rightfully so.
Absolutely. And as I said, Islamic law is very specific. You touch a non-meher, a woman who isn't your family, you're fucked in Islam. And if my religion is followed, if they had been handed over to people, I would have done it. I would have smiled at the prison fucking thing. I'd have hanged the bastards myself.
I would have probably tortured them while I did it.
No, because that's excessive towards Islam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just done, they're dusted. No, this is the problem. The law of Britain grants these men the ability to feel that they're immune to it.
For some reason.
Yeah.
For some kind of ideological pandering.
The liberal law. You see, if Islamic law was applied, And I know that's a whole can of worms that most liberal atheistic Britons don't want. But
Guilty.
if you were to hand as an atheist, if you were the Prime Minister, hand them to my community, I'm telling you, Prime Minister Daedalus, you will never have this problem again. You'd probably give them to me.
I probably would.
And I'm telling you, without a shadow of a doubt, no Muslim little shitbag who thinks he can do this because they're white girls and they can do what they like. And this is not in any part of my religion. There is nowhere in the Quran where you're allowed to even touch a woman without her being your wife, your sisters, where you're playing with your sisters if you're young enough, or kissing your mother on the cheek or something. There are very fucking strict rules in how you treat women in the Muslim community. And the fact that these weren't followed, of course they weren't followed.
Yeah.
Because, as I've said to you before, the Islamic illiteracy in the north of the country is about 80%.
Which is crazy.
Which means these people claim they're Muslim, but they have no understanding of how the Quran or the Sunnah or any of the hadiths operate. So they're not Muslim, in my opinion. And I'm brutal in that regard. These communities that
I think that's fair enough.
These communities that don't, that are they're culturally, ethnically Muslim, they're not religiously Muslim. Because they lack clear understanding of what it means to be Muslim. But the stabbing of this young man is prolific by the lack of care that the police have had. And they've had this ideology here in London since the 80s. And I'm from London. I'm from this beautiful city. I love my home city. The problem being is the people who control it are cunts. Okay? The people who are in charge of London are absolute cunts. They don't give a flying fuck about any community. Mine, yours, as in I'm a 10th generation Irishman, you're Italian English, he's probably Welsh English.
Tiny bit of sheep in there.
I was waiting for that. There you go. As soon as he said it, I was like, I'm just waiting for it. Come about. Waiting for it to come about.
Ethnically speaking, as me and Chris have said many times, we're from Gloucestershire. And we don't care having our name out in the open because of the amount of farmers, and you said you're dead jealous.
I am very jealous.
Live within farmer country. There are people out there, oh, you got a problem with Sean? And I'm kidding you, I'm not kidding you, these people are fucking crazy.
Oh, I'd absolutely love that because it's almost like security without having security.
The crazy thing is, as I said to you, just only a couple of weeks ago, a police officer knocked on a farmer's door to ask permission to go vote on his land. Because that's the level of offishness. You don't fuck with the farmers in Gloucestershire.
I love that.
You don't fuck with them. You don't care who you are. They're crazy fucking people.
Whereas down here, the police will just barge into you without. They don't give a shit.
And that was another thing. And having a joke about that, Met Pole occasionally retires to places like Gloucestershire.
I don't.
And no, I make you laugh. William, the guy I was mentioning, he said a Met Pole copper once barged into a farmer's estate somewhere in the 90s. He was shot twice, and it was ruled it was lawful because he was trespassing on farmland.
Based.
You can't do it. And I think the Met Pole have kind of got that idea that they can do anything, that they're immune to the law. And there is that level of immunity. And it's existed since the 80s. And it has culturally never disappeared from the police force in London. And that is starting to echo out into other police forces now, that they are above the presidiation of law.
They almost act like a private army rather than a police force.
Because they know that there are certain groups that they can't mess around with. Those certain groups are my religious cousins. And we'll be tactful around that. Because we know who I have two religious cousins, and we're not on about the major religious cousins in the country, which still represent 40% of Britons. The religious cousins who make 40% of the country. They're the tiny religious group of my cousins who have all the benefits. They have their own police force, their own ambulance. Now, I get where you would say no religious group should have their own ambulance, no religious group should have their own police force. And
I understand why it's become a thing.
Yeah, but it shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
No. And
if we're truly going to be a so-called equal society, then everyone should basically be the same. The problem being is Britain lives in a society where we have micro groups that are treated more than the stature. As a Malachite, as I've mentioned to you when we were in the coffee shop, I believe in community law. I believe in that law should affect everybody equally without reservation. The law should be applied to all of us, regardless who we are, whether we're Muslims, Sikhs, atheists, spiritualists. We should be entirely treated equally. We're not. No.
We're not. And I know we're not. And it's because we've got to a point where I don't want anything harm towards the gay community, and I don't want them to come at me like I'm some kind of demon. But they represent let's say 5% on the outside of the entire British population, and a percentage of them is the trans community. The trans community gets too much oxygen. We are always talking about trans activable problems. The press and the fucking paper are always talking about, why are we talking about a percentage of a percentage when we have real problems like a young 18-year-old boy being fucking stabbed and being unbelieved by police force that have a duty of care to an alcohol inebriated 18-year-old boy?
Every single time I see a politician come on Sky News or whatever, and they're talking about, like you say, a fraction of a percentage of the community, I always end up screaming at it, what about us?
And I think we've got to that point, and this is what worries me, because even though you flirted with Rupert Lowe, and we're going to get towards reform and restore, I still think that he is dangerous, because even though he's got some British-centric kind of views, what is under the surface of
Yes.
that? And that's a scary thing. Whereas I can't stand Nigel Farage.
No, I can't stand him either.
With a fucking barge pole, because the man lied about the fucking buses. He lied about...
Buses?
The sign on the bus? You don't remember the red sign on the bus? You're a bit too young for that, are you?
No, I completely remember the bus.
The bus, where he says we will get 200, or was it 300
It was.
million pounds
It was.
a
It was.
week.
We send the European Union £350 million a year. Let's fund the NHS. Not we will promise to fund the NHS.
Yeah. This is where I have a problem. And that motherfucker and that cunt Boris Johnson...
If I say what I want to happen to Boris Johnson,
Boris Johnson should be in prison.
I'll be in
I
big
worked
trouble
in
if
the
I
care
say.
industry during his tenure. I lost 7 centurions because of COVID. And it wasn't COVID that killed them. It was the lack of their families seeing them. And then that bastard was out partying him. That motherfucker should be in prison.
I always say to people, because I was banging the drum about this at the time when lockdown was easing. I kept on saying, because the that whole Partygate thing, the conversation was deliberately being worded around being outraged at the fact that they had parties. I always kept on trying to say to people, don't be angry at the fact they had a party. Ask the question. They had access to all of the data, so presumably they knew how bad it was or how not bad it was. They still chose to have a party when they had access to all the data. So was it as dangerous as they made it out, or was it just an overreaction? The whole lockdown.
I think they didn't give a fuck.
I think they didn't give a fuck.
I think they thought they were immune to... There's
Don't get me
rules
wrong.
for us and rules for them.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it wasn't bad. I'm not saying that COVID wasn't bad before anyone starts getting angry at me.
Yeah, no. There was... As I was in the care industry, it did exist. It was a problem.
Yeah, it did.
And I say we should have had social distancing for people on the streets.
Yes.
But not shut down the country.
Yes.
Masks.
I am a big believer of what Sweden did, where they issued the guidelines. They said, right, social distancing, masks, whatever, but we're not shutting the country down.
And I think that was... Because you thought it was a mistake, didn't you?
They shouldn't shut the country down at all. They should done what the Swedes done, implemented some structure so everyone could go about what they usually did.
Exactly.
Because the only thing it did was make Britain worse off economically, isolated people, which unfortunately led to some people dying of loneliness and everything else.
Caused massive mental health spike.
Yeah,
Mental
health went through the roof.
It delayed the development of children. Like there's some children who are like 5 years old now and can't read.
Younger generations due to obviously not going to school,
Yeah.
which then affects them socially,
Yeah.
which then is developed into anxiety, which then will future develop into more mental health problems, something which we're trying to combat, trying to deal with, and it only made everything worse.
That's an excellent point. NEETs. More than 1.2 fucking million of them. Not in education, not working, all of them ranging from the ages of 16 to 24. That is the largest group of problems this country has. We have to get a fucking head of this. And I don't think... I mean, we're going to get to Keir Starmer. I almost hate that motherfucker as much as I do Boris Johnson.
Same.
But unfortunately, he hasn't negligently led to hundreds of thousands of deaths, so I don't put him at Boris Johnson, in my opinion, is the worst Prime Minister we've had outside of war. I put him above Neville fucking Chamberlain. And that's historically an unprecedented position to be in. That man has caused more death and harm than the naivety of Neville Chamberlain. Like, you can call Neville Chamberlain naive. That's why. He was just naive. As a
He was just naive. I don't want to be seen as giving the man credit, but I could kind of see what he was trying to do. He
thought that Hitler could be another.
Yeah, he probably looked at it like we've just had a bloody horrendous war, which is what World War One was.
Yeah,
It's like, maybe I can reason with this guy. Maybe I could try.
And it was a naivety, and I get that. Whereas Boris Johnson, I think he was Machiavellingly fucking evil.
Yeah, he was a cunt. Can I say that on here?
No, unapologetically. And I think one of the key problems on why the Tories have done so badly, and we're ex-Conservatives, I'm quite happy to admit that, is because they refuse to acknowledge the damage that Boris did.
They didn't want to take accountability for the mistakes.
Which is one of the reasons why I hate reform so much, because not only are they...
He's taken all the fucking vermin with him.
Exactly. Not only is he...
The fucking bad ones have gone to reform.
Not only is he taking ex-Tories, they're taking ex-Boris Johnson Tories, the most traitorous scumbags there are. Like, the worst one, I think, is Nadine Dorries, because she came... They took her on.
No,
the first thing that she said, we need to bring Boris on. I was like, Boris Johnson should be... No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Hang the fucker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same with Margaret Thatcher's favourite rent boy, Princess Anthony Charles Linton Blair.
Just get Boris to walk down Peckham.
Oh, God, my people would lynch him.
Without security.
With security, my people would do it. The fucker could bring security. Gloucester Gardens would pour me out, Boris. We want words. I'm telling you, he would never. He walks down Gloucester Garden. Come here, Boris. Me want to chat with you. They wouldn't get him back.
Just want to talk to you. Just want to talk to you. Just want to talk to you.
50 yards in, gone.
I'm kidding you now. The man wouldn't survive. My borough would eat him alive. They could send 30 security. The security wouldn't come for him.
No.
There'd be tens of thousands of people coming out to see him.
To be honest, security probably up. Now you're on your own. We're off.
You deserve this. To go. Bye-bye.
Because I'm not even joking. That man is reviably hated in this country. Next to Sadiq Khan. That's another London mayor that's a fucking retard. I don't care he's Muslim. He's a fucking retard. What he's done to this city is unreal.
I don't even think he's Muslim.
He is, technically.
Is that the one that wants to put Sharia law in London?
No, he's not. No, Chris, if
I don't see him doing that.
Chris,
I was going to say,
that man is the most liberal Muslim.
That's exactly why I think he's not Muslim, because he is so progressive. It's like
I just heard this thing just pop up, and I was like,
no.
He does that. That's just political suicide.
The Daily Fail has no way of being able. He's not. To be fair, if he was closer to the Shira, if he was my Shira, I would consider him actually worthwhile the fucking time. You know, where you have community-based law, as I mentioned to you earlier. He's not. He's a fucking ultra-liberal. He's nothing like us.
He spends all his time pandering to a subsection of minorities. I don't think this guy is going to introduce Sharia law, you know?
No, because he does. He's always talking about how friendly he is towards the gay community, how friendly...
That's the opposite side.
Yeah. He's on the... We Muslims will tell you, we leave the gays, let them do their thing, let them be there, but don't overemphasise them. And that's the centralist Muslims amongst us. We're not talking about the fucking crazy people who think it should be outlawed. It's not going to happen.
Throw them off a building.
Yeah. They're lunatics. Okay, the normal Muslims, alhamdulillah, do your thing. We don't want to see it. We don't want to know about it. It's none of our business.
Keep it within your...
Keep it in your bedroom.
Yeah.
And I think that's the moderate Muslims. We're the moderates. We do your own thing. But the problem being is he panders to that community. He panders to us. And that's how that fucker has got re-elected. He is canceristic, I think, as a Muslim leader. I mean, since we're moving to politics, and this is a good point, West steering, your opinion. Go.
West streeting. I think he's even more of a fucking wet wipe than Keir Starmer is. That guy has got no... That guy...
Do you think he'll make it?
No. I genuinely think that if you were to... As much as I can't stand it, I genuinely think that if you was to prompt ChatGPT to draw you just a typical career politician who has no beliefs of his own, you would get West Street. I genuinely think that.
So...
What was the thing that he did recently? He put something out on X about Muslims or Islam or something.
I don't know. He's such a forgettable politician. I think...
I think he thinks he's more important than he actually is.
That just says it all. Put something out and nobody knows about it.
You know what I'm saying? A Muslim doesn't know.
Even a Muslim doesn't know.
Didn't know.
Did he gain traction? Just blew away in the wind.
I did find it quite funny that he sort of pulled the rug out from underneath Andy Burnham when he said that, I want to rejoin the European Union. And so that's won the Blairite side over to Wes Streeting. And then Andy Burnham was put in a difficult position where it's like, right, what do I do now? Because whatever I say, I'm going to piss off a faction of Labour. If I say yes, Blairites love me, but other people don't love me. If I say no, Blairites fucking hate me.
To be fair, the Blairites are not as much of a force as they used to be in the Labour Party. They're more parliamentary in force than union and party force. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the party members and unions, they're not Blairites anymore. They haven't been for a very long time. And I only recently had this conversation with a 12-year union man who's in my shop, and he's a lovely guy, really lovely. He says the Blairites are now the last vestiges of parliamentary office. That's where they are. They don't exist on a union level anymore. They don't exist on the common Labour card holder anymore.
That's still too much influence for my liking.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. So whereas I think if Andy wins his by-election, he's won it entirely. Because the unions and voters want him over any of the others. His major hurdle is coming at the Makersfield. I think he might clinch it because Reform and Restore hate each other. And
it depends. I think it really depends on how many of the people that vote for Restore are actually coming from Reform, or because I think a lot of Restore, from what I've seen, Restore seems to be going after the people that have never voted, rather than Reform guys. If that makes sense.
No, because Reform's original power base comes from the radical far right, and they are bleeding into the Restore. They're going in that direction. I think Nigel Farage trying to become more mainstream has alienated his hardcore, got him off the ground base. And Rupert Lowe is probably trying to do in 10 years what Nigel Farage has taken 30 years to do. And I think that's a very accurate assertion when it comes towards the politics of Britain. But I think Rupert Lowe hasn't got a hope in hell. The country will never vote for a man like him as a national prime minister. If it happens, I will think it's been fudged, because there's too many Britons that would say that man is going to do too much damage. Yes, we need to get a handle on migrant. Yes, we need to get a handle on housing. And as I've said to you before, and this is very controversial, me and Chris have regularly said, we've looked into the data. We don't have a migrant problem. And I had this conversation with the coffee shop. We have an infrastructure problem that is exasperated by lawful migration.
Yes.
Which you then said, okay, that's an acceptable point.
It is an acceptable point.
Because our infrastructure is based on 55 million homes, houses, infrastructure from the 1950s. We haven't had a major fucking industrial boom.
No.
And let's be kind of like fantasy world. Chris is the Chancellor. I'm the Home Secretary. Count Daedalus is the Prime Minister. And I say to you, we're going to need to borrow half a £1 trillion to build the country. We need to suspend the green belt. We need to expand all the towns. We need a monotony on all forms of migration, no matter if it's married or wife. For 3 to 4 years, we need to basically tell the British public, you want to bring your spouse in? Good. They're allowed to visit, but they can't live here. We need to fix the country's infrastructure. And we do. The country needs a mass infrastructural project on a level of which we haven't seen since the 50s. And the way you do that is you fix the tax code. Because there are too many fucking legal loopholes. I'm not saying they're breaking the laws. Companies aren't breaking the laws. There are too many legal loopholes in the United Kingdom that allows companies to pay less tax than me and you.
Too many backdoors.
Too many backdoors. They all need to be closed. Admittedly, and the upper end tax, because when they're closed, the upper end tax is 85%. That has to come down.
Yes.
Common fucking sense says that.
We need to be more competitive.
Yeah. I say 3, Chris says 5. Also, something that me and Chris say, we need a birther card. Do you know what that is?
What is?
Right, so you've got a card on you. Yeah, do this. So I'm going to briefly pinch, there's a card here on Chris's, I only do that briefly, which is basically like a thing. So it's a piece of plastic that you give to any woman who has a British passport and has a British birth certificate. So so I pass you this card, so say your partner applies for it. She's got 2 children. If you agree to have a 3rd child, we take 10 grand off all of your household's tax until that child reaches 18. You have a 4th child, we turn that to 18 grand tax.
So it's to encourage a birth rate increase.
It would encourage a birth rate increase. So the household, so let's say you and the Countess get married, You have a lovely a family full of little counts and viscounts running around the house. It would immediately make it financially viable for you and her to have a third child, because 10 grand off of all of your tax, all of it. She does the house shopping, she does the food shopping, she does the petrol upgrades. You're like, that's good. That's 10 grand off of my tax. So you're still paying for the amenities, the goods, but you're not paying any tax for it.
Yes.
You do 500,000 of those cards. It's roughly, what did you say it was, 5.2 or 5.3?
Roughly about 5.3.
5.3 billion a year. That's nothing.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, that's like a days of NHS spending.
Which will be funded by redoing the tax system.
Which will be refunded by redoing the tax system.
Which desperately needs redoing anyway.
Yeah, of course. We got 115,000 tax records on the books today.
You mean pages?
Pages. Yeah, not even tax codes. Pages of fucking tax.
They deliberately make it as complicated as possible to squeeze you.
Of course.
You literally want it a handbook.
I noticed this from when I had to do my self-assessment, when the Home Office discovered that I was making extra money on the side. So I had to do a self-assessment. I was looking at it, I was like, God, this is the most complicated thing I've ever fucking seen.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's done deliberately just to make it difficult for you. So I had to fork out a couple £100 for an accountant.
This is where I like being an Irishman. I've got family for that. I've got family who are in law, family who are in accounting. And this motherfucker's like, John, I need advice. I need advice.
With the progression of technology these days, you could get AI to do it.
You can.
Yeah.
Only the low-level stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's the start.
Yeah, absolutely. I fundamentally stand by the conceptual position, your network is who you are.
Yes.
At this point in the digital age, who you know and what you know is far more valuable at this point than your individual skills. And when it comes to the tax code is too burdensome for a modern period. It needs to be cut. Probably I'll end up agreeing with Chris, you need 5 brackets. You know, the people under 20 grand, the people at 50 grand, the people over 150 grand, the millionaires, and then the billionaires. And the top bracket should never pay more than 45%. There should be no riders. Absolutely no back doors, no fucking Cayman Islands, nothing. That should be binned right now. And inner city London. And that will anger a lot of bankers, but I don't give a fuck.
Who gives a shit about that?
I would give the billionaires and millionaires a choice of where to put their money, where the tax money is being spent. So say, for example, we could either put it in school, hospital, or housing. Yeah. So they can choose.
Yeah.
But give an incentive, even though I'm taking a fair chunk of your money on tax.
I think
that seems
where would you like it spent?
Of their income.
I'm taking a certain point of your income where it basically means you're working for the state for nearly half a year.
Yeah.
Like, you get to choose where we put it.
Yeah. Where would you like it? Education, healthcare,
That's not
housing.
a bad suggestion. That's really not
I
a bad
quite like that.
Because I have a feeling most of them go, okay, you may be taking it, but at least then I can control where it goes.
Giving a billionaire the option of knowing where their money is being spent.
Yeah. So I could go, if most of them will probably go, oh, I'll do it here due to my own personal ties.
Yeah.
I know it's doing something good.
As much as people don't like billionaires, and that's completely justified in some cases, and you want them to you want to get their money. You kind of need them around for their.
You need them incentivized to actually pull it in.
You don't want to alienate them to the point where they're like, oh, fuck this country, I'm gone.
You'll have so much.
The problem being is that many billionaires believe that they should have zero fucking tax because there are zero tax countries out there. I fundamentally say when the Conservatives turn around and say to you, oh, we'll lose them all if we have your tax system. My response to that is very, very clear. Fuck them. For the people who want to leave for zero tax place, they shouldn't be in the Western countries.
You got no stake in
because
us.
Like politics, like industry, like anything, everyone abhors a vacuum. We are, whether people like it, a country of nearly 70 million. People will fill that gap. It's what the Tories don't tell you is my mates who are billionaires might leave the country. Well, fuck your mates, mate.
Yes.
If they're not helping my country, they've got no business being on this island. You either participate or fuck off.
Yes.
That is the end of the conversation for everybody at every level.
Invest in the place that you're in. It's as simple as that.
From the highest billionaires down to the poorest people, everyone should be invested in Britain. If you're not, get the fuck off my island.
Yeah. What are you doing here?
And I'm very nationalistic about that. I don't care. I've got no... And that's what pisses me off with people like Nigel Farage. He's very friendly to these fucking jet-setting multi-billionaires.
Yes.
And he's okay with them being migrants.
They want to privatise the NHS, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't know if they do.
He does.
Not... Because the thing that really annoyed me, actually, is because there's loads of things to criticise them about. And the thing about the privatising in the NHS, and I know this because I remember when it was done. It was a clip that was taken from an interview in like 2010 when the French were flirting with changing something about their healthcare system, and he was interested in what they were going to do, and then it didn't work out, so he later on rejected it.
I think that
It's the classic Tory Labour thing. Oh, we'll just dig up something from 20 years ago.
that's not necessarily the reason I say that is because the ex-Tories that have joined him want to privatise the NHS as well. So this is not necessarily half his party are some of the most xenophobic, nasty parts of the Conservative, and they too want to create a nationalised NHS. These are the part. Remember, I think it's Suella Braverman. She wants to privatise NHS. We've got clips of her talking about it. There are entire elements in his party. This is not just. I don't prescribe to that Nigel Farage is a one-man band anymore. He's not.
He's not.
He's got actual politicians who have been in Parliament. So we have to at least credit them. And they want to privatise the NHS.
That's more accurate.
So it's not the clip himself that I have a problem with. It's the fuckers that are around him that I have a problem with. And there are some really nasty xenophobic bastards in that group. Really. I'm talking the kind of people who would attack British Jamaicans who have been here more than 200 years, who I would say are liberal British. They tap every poll that you would call British, Daedalus. You know, that they believe in liberal law, they believe in the rights of the gay community, and these xenophobic fuckers want them to go as well. You know, there are parts of Reform and Restore that believe in, if you're not English, Welsh, Scottish, Irish.
Oh, I'm fully aware of that.
And those are the people we need to be fucking wary about. Because it's not the spokespersons that are a problem with me, it's the people riding their coattails that worry me.
Yes.
Because that's exactly what happened with Trump. Trump isn't necessarily the fucking demon I have a problem with in America. He's got many problems for the shit he says. It's the bastards behind him. They're scary fucking people. Scary. Because Britain doesn't have currently, like, if we were in power, we could fix the British birth rate in 10, 15 years. Us. With the ideas of the birther card. Every year, put 5 to 10 billion away for the tax rebates you're giving families to build third and fourth children. And you will solve the birth rate that way. And then we can have an adult conversation about, yes, repatriation, if you want to do that. If the British people genuinely want to do that. Because there is a conversation in the British sphere, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. I'm not a favour of it. I'm honest about it. But we can't ignore these conversations anymore. You can't ignore that the ethnic Britons don't necessarily want millions and millions and millions of people who don't share their culture.
And I think that's where that's the one issue that I had with the. You say you don't have a migrant problem, you have an infrastructure problem, which, like you said, is sort of
it's exasperated because Britain has gained 10 million people in 25 years,
and it's just the whole. We do have an infrastructure problem, so we need to build up infrastructure for it. It's like. It just reads as, we're building up infrastructure for the sake of people that have just come here.
No, we need to build the infrastructure for your children now.
Yes.
For what we've got in the country, let alone anything else.
I would close the fucking doors permanently. If you put the 10th generation Irish Muslim in charge of immigration, I'd shut the fucking doors entirely for 3 to 5 years while we fight the infrastructural problems.
Solve that.
And say, no, don't care who it is under any circumstance.
I would then reopen it to... literally,
and then we reopen it, and I would say then when we do the reopening, it will only be because I genuinely economically believe we should rejoin Europe. Thoughts?
No.
Oh, why?
I'm fundamentally against the existence of that thing. But
the principles of Europe or the European Union as it is.
The European Union as it is.
Right. So you're not opposed to the idea of us being a federal group together.
I am opposed to that.
Ooh.
I am not a European federalist. I'm too much of a nationalist.
I don't believe that we as Europeans have enough resources to operate in the world stage independently anymore.
You don't?
No.
Fair enough.
When you look at our infrastructure from an analytical point of view, have I mentioned that my background's in history? I think you probably know.
Refresh my memory.
I have a degree in Chancellor Christian history.
Oh, fair play.
And lots of my friends are analysts. Lots of my old college friends are analysts. And because they're analyticalists, they say that Europe in general does not have the resources to be a competing world power. It has to unite to use its market force to then be a competing power on the world stage. So that's why I'm a European federalist. Now, how I convince you to get there is an entirely different subject. Do I guarantee your right to Parliament has sovereign law? Does the sovereign law have the right to tell European law to fuck off? That's all negotiable. But on the points of defence, on the points of economical unity and the movement of our youth, we absolutely need that.
I'm a big supporter of cooperating together. It's just the whole that whole extra layer of government over you that I have the main issue with.
That's why you two fucking network.
I want to go back into the EU, but into the EU market, not the Brussels part of it. Which
I hate that.
Which there you go. You must do this. How about you go stick your head up your ass?
You see, you're parliamentarians.
I'm very much in the position of who the fuck are you? Yeah. Who asked for you?
The only thing I'll take is something of health and safety.
You believe that the British people's voice in British Parliament should be governing British laws.
Yeah.
And I have no qualm with that. And I think Europe is starting to realise, because the French are having this problem as well.
A lot of them are. The Italians, the Polish especially.
And then Europe, I think Europe in 10 years will not be the Europe that you hate. I genuinely don't. And it is in our economical, personal interest of your taxpayers, your future kids, to be part of Europe. Because we as Europeans do not have the resources. Unless we advance a space age where we're mining fucking asteroids as Europeans or individual countries, that you're willing to put 500-600 billion into the space development.
We haven't got that money.
We haven't. For the return, we haven't. We need that in our housing. We need that in our infrastructure now, right now, so we can deal with the country. But if we're looking at that as a European, Britain puts 10, France puts 10. When you put 10 in every pot and Europe builds a space program, that's where you'll get your resources.
It really annoys me, actually, the whole space program thing, because it's like, I'll give you a very quick one off the top of my head that I use this quite a lot.
Because you're very good at this.
I use this quite a lot because you know the over-bloated spending of HS2. Yeah. It's something like 100 billion. How much was the James Webb Space Telescope, do you reckon? How much do you reckon that cost?
I have no idea about space stuff, so I don't know.
10 billion.
See, yeah.
You could build 10 James Webb Space Telescopes with the budget currently being used for HS2.
You see, I would scrap HS2.
Yeah, I would.
Absolutely. And then gut whatever's left of its projects and resell it off so I can get some money back.
Yes.
I don't think that is and me and Chris have this opinion. You bring in the specialists. We would hire Japanese train companies to come and fix our infrastructure bridges involving.
So would I.
Just bring them in. Tell them what we want. Tell them they can have as much labour they want from the illegal migrants. No. As scary as that is, it's not as out controversial as it is. You give the illegal migrants 3 options: leave the country, you can go anywhere you want. We'll book your flights. You spend 10 years in doing the shitty labour that Britain needs.
Service guaranteed citizenship. I like
it. Or you do 15 years in the military and we will give you a house at the end of it.
Also service guaranteed citizenship.
You would solve all of the British issues, I think, in you, the current British, the slightly right British, and you and Chris are. I'm slightly left centralistic, you're slightly right centralistic. I think you would solve their grievances with the migrant problems if you offered the migrant men, because I'm telling you this now, if they're as cynical as they are, the benefit claimers that many people claim that they are, I don't think they are, but say they are, they'll be out that door. If their 3 options are, you leave, you serve in the labour force for 10 years, or you do military service in 15 and we'll give you a house at the end of it.
I'm a full believer in doing something like that because, as you say, it doesn't, regardless of how big or how small the scroungers are, they will just self-deport.
Yeah, because the option...
it's not going to be a free ride anymore. Guess the grift's up.
Yeah. And I think that's an important factor. I don't think... You see, I've got to give Labour their due. They have closed a lot of the criminal hotels that Boris Johnson created.
Yes.
They have closed a lot of them. They've moved them to military bases. They are dealing with the amount of migrants we've got coming across are down from Boris Johnson's time period. So we need to emphasise as a podcast that we're not anti... You have a genuine claim. I think if you saw Syrian or Palestinian refugees, you'd take them in, wouldn't you?
To an extent.
Yeah. Until we can get you sorted and see if you want to be part of Britain. I believe in doing the refugee necessity, but economical migrants should leave.
I think my main problem is, the reason why I say in so-and-so, depending on the situation, is because with all the exploitation and the taking the piss that we've seen, it's made me last couple of years, it's made me, people use the word empathy. I've lost a lot of it.
Yeah,
because it's just, I'm just fed up with it.
No, I
Go
get
somewhere
that.
else.
Because they know they can come along and get a free ride. Hence the reason why they come.
Exactly.
Hence the reason if we emphasise leave, do
Leave.
the labour force,
Leave.
or serve in our army.
Take your pick.
Take your pick.
I think the vast majority of them would just leave.
They probably
Either
would.
way, it solves the fucking problem.
I think we need a fundamental restructuring of Britain's socio-political understanding of how we use. I don't think we should leave the European Union.
We join it on the
European
market
Court of
side.
Human Rights, I mean, or the Convention of Human Rights. We just need to acknowledge that we can put a Miranda. We legally can, still holding those papers, we can say we're not opening our borders for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
X, Y, Z, they have to.
I often say this to people who say we need to leave the ECHR. So you can't just tell them to go fuck themselves.
Because France does
France
it all
does
the
it
time.
all the time.
All the time. France says, fuck off.
I'm pretty sure. What does Poland do? They have like armed security on their border, and the European Court of Human Rights saying you can't do this. Like, fuck off, Cordova. And
Yeah, no, they do.
they find them.
We're serving our people.
They will
you go
find
away.
them, and they're just like, I'm not paying this fine. Cordova, fuck off.
And you've got to give the Polish their due in that regard. They just do. I think the reality is we have to now acknowledge we should, as a nation, hold a Miranda, say we're not taking on any migrants until we've solved our infrastructure. And if that takes 10 years, then we're not having migrants for 10 fucking years.
That's what it is.
That would probably make UK a hell of a lot more sound.
Because then we can integrate the people who want to be part of our country. We deport anybody who don't want the 3 options. And those 3 options aren't bad, I don't think. Service to Labour to help build the infrastructure in the country for 10 years is not asking much.
Invest in the place that you come into, defend the place you go into, or go away.
Yeah, and we'll pay you the fucking flight tickets to where you want to go.
Yeah.
I
Seems
don't-
bloody fair to me.
And that's not nationalistic, because I'm a centre leftist. And
I think that is nationalistic.
Is it?
But I don't think nationalistic is a dirty word.
You think I'm being nationalist? Wow.
I don't think I don't. I'm
Call that taking
I
care of
will say one thing. I don't think nationalistic is as dirty word as people make it out to be. I genuinely don't, because all it is to me
I thought
is
it was common sense.
it is
Fix the
common
problem.
sense. It is common sense.
'Cause
But
it's-
I also think being nationalistic is also common sense, because you're just saying that you believe in the existence of the nation state, and you think that the
problem should be solved.
Yeah, and the nation state is the only legitimate source for a position for a polity, and that the only people that should be governing the nation state are those whom the populace choose.
Yeah.
That's what nationalism is to me. I reject.
So you don't mean ethno-nationalism?
I don't even recognise ethno-nationalism, because what was it? Ethno is just a Greek word for nation, and nation is Latin for ethnos. So it's the same.
Well, no, in the modern term of the language, it's not. It means people who believe that only the English, Welsh, and Scottish, Irish should be on this island. That's the modern political terminology.
If they was to uphold that,
I'm not against people
Population.
coming here to visit, or small numbers of people moving. I don't mind that. It's just a natural thing.
I fundamentally believe that Britain needs to stop
I do think.
lawful, and that's the problem. The bulk of our migrant problems are lawful migration.
Yes.
They are genuinely lawful migration.
Sorry, guys, but the small boat things are that's just a drop in the ocean.
Yeah, there's in
You've had
25 years. There's only been like 400,000, 400,000 or 500,000, and that's if you're taking the sun's horrific level of mathematics.
Whereas the number they don't want to talk about is
The 10 million over 25 years.
Since Margaret Thatcher's favourite rent boy, Princess Anthony Charles Linton Blair, swung the borders open to, quote, rub the faces of the right in diversity and render their arguments out of date, you've had more people since then, 1997 to today, than you have from 1066, the Norman Conquest, to 1997. You've had more people in that time in the last 10 years, nearly 30 years.
I'm not sure. As a historian, I might disagree, because Britain's had a fluctuated population of Irish immigrations and the Nords. No, 1066. No, you're probably right. No, I'm trying to work out the maths there, because we've had mass population explosion and decline.
Yeah.
Because if you're going back far enough, we've had more than 20 million in the previous 1,000 years than we did that was because there's been an up and down, because we've had several collapses. We've had 3 civilizations on these islands: the Romans, the Anglo-Saxons, the Vikings, and then the Normans. But from 1066, you're probably right, because that's where our most stability has been. So yeah, you could probably count that the British civilization, modern British civilization, is from 1066 onwards. The Norman invasions onwards is probably historically the correct term if you're looking at modern Britain. England, Wales, Scotland, and then islands in incorporation in that time period. I'm not talking about the collusion of the Union. England was the overlords of Ireland, Wales, and Scotland for a lot longer than that. Whether people like that, that's historically correct. So, in terms of the British modern nation, you're probably right. That's scary to think.
Yeah.
Prior to that, no.
No.
Because we've had booms and busts from our civilised collapses upwards.
It's just to give an idea of just how much movement there's been in that time.
But in 25 years, we've only had 10 million. And that is capable for us to deal with. We are at a cusp position as a country to deal with the 10 million migrants we've had in 25 years. We are. We need to integrate them. We need to expel anybody who doesn't share our values.
That's the other thing as well. Westminster kind of needs to decide, is it going to integrate or is it going to be a multiculti John Lennon's imagined society? Because you've kind of got to pick one or the other.
I say, as the Muslim, integrate.
Integrate. I'm fully on.
Everybody in.
You have to integrate. You have to integrate because if you say you're a full believer in multiculturalism, well, they're not going to integrate, are they?
No.
There's nothing to integrate into.
No. You have to hold a centre of beliefs: fairness, equality, shared social belief system of the rule of law, equality under the law.
Exactly.
Everyone pays taxes. Yeah.
You listening, queer Stalin?
He's fucked.
Your multicultural bullshit needs to end.
He's fucked, and I'm glad of that. You know how much.
Mr. likes letting his chancellor just raise tax after tax.
Oh,
after tax,
fuck
after
me!
Tax.
He hates her with an undying passion.
I'm not surprised. Did she lie on her CV?
Yeah, she did.
There's another tax they're planning on introducing.
Every 10 days, my boy's done the research. Every 10 days, we've had a new tax.
Since he started, every single 10 days. Either a new tax
Me
or a
and
tax
you,
rise.
Our money has been pouring out of our pockets since she came Chancellor.
Oh, I know. I've noticed.
I just fucking want to scream every fucking day. Because it does. It affects our pocket. It hurts us.
Obviously, where you've said, obviously, Boris is the most evil for loss of human life. This current Labour government is the one that's going to make Britain broke the way it's going.
She genuinely makes me more taxationist theft.
To be fair, you've got to acknowledge that they aren't in this problem without the 14 years of mismanagement from the Conservatives. We have to acknowledge that Conservatives are the black hole that caused all these tax rises. And I'm not defending them, because I think that we should restructure the entire tax code.
They could have easily done that by now.
Yeah. We could have already been in a boom if they had restructured the tax system.
They could make the current ones, it's just failed. We're doing a complete restructure, so it's this, and this. No loopholes for the corporations. Bang, money straight in the pot.
With the three of us.
Yeah, I'll be the one sat crunching the numbers of being evil gate. Yeah, that's fine.
No, and I'll be the one saying no migrants. No one.
No, we'll both be doing that.
Because I think at this point our country, and it's not being anti-migrant. I don't even want to throw the 10 million people out. I want to integrate them into Britain. I want to take that strength and bring it into us.
I want to integrate the ones that are willing to. The ones that aren't willing to.
Okay, sort out the ones that are here, and then think about more after.
The three options. We'll give you flight tickets.
The ones that are in prison. No, you're not getting a free.
No. That's where Chris has won that argument with me. He's won that. You see, the criminals we cut. They don't stay. No.
The moment you got a criminal record, you're out the door. I don't give a crap what.
And I've only said the compassionate side is if they've stolen for food, we can consider that. To feed yourself and your family. So if you've come across and said, yes, I've stolen, but it was to put food on the table for my family, I would argue with him about that. If it's Nikes, if it's watches, now you're gone, mate. You're gone. You're done.
If it's so you can keep yourself and your family alive, we may give you a
look at it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah,
see if that's
absolutely.
It's temporary
Food
basis.
theft is not the same in my book. If you're trying to stop your family from starving and you're destituted,
if you're thieving high-end shoes, watches, clothes, cars, and everything else above food,
then you're a professional.
You're going straight back out the door.
If you're stealing bread, food, chicken, no, I don't consider. I call that a crime because society has forgotten you.
It's also it's a difficult one. Yeah. Crime because society's forgotten you, because you've got to be you kind of got to tread on eggshells with it, because if you start making exemptions,
only exemptions that involve food theft, only with food theft. Because I'm not even talking, and I'm not talking high end steaks now. I'm talking about what you need to physically survive. So we're talking bread, eggs, milk, the real stuff that really, if a man is stealing that for his family, that's not going to be more than £100 a fucking a week or a month kind of thing. So you can say, yeah, we can cross that off because that's theft for stopping to starve. That's justifiable theft, in my opinion. And I know that sounds wrong, but there is a justifiable theft in a modern society where there is enough food to feed the entire fucking human race.
Not the ones which turn around, go in, fill in an entire basket, and then leave just because they want to.
Yeah. There is food to feed people, and there is, like I said, the human race can feed the entire species now. Right now, we can do it. Mm-hmm. We just need to restructure the food chains, but we don't.
And don't listen to Bill Gates.
I think it was on Clarkson's Farm. I was watching the latest ones. They said like roughly about 30% of the food that is produced is being wasted.
Absolutely, yes. It's mad. It's mad.
It's insane.
It's absolutely insane. I find that the population problem is doable. We can solve our population issues. We can integrate what can be. And I'll be surprised, a lot of people who are here lawfully do want to integrate. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. The 99%. There are elements of my community that I want to throw out the country. And I'm candid about this. Anybody who wants to talk when we are less than 4.5 million of the population, anybody who's talking about the shira being applied on anyone but that isn't. Shira, to me, is an internal thing. I apply the shira to me.
What is it exactly?
It's how the Prophet, Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, wanted us to govern ourselves and how we govern ourselves. And the Quran and the Prophet said, live in the country under their laws as they state them, as you are a guest. The Prophet commanded Muslims to do that. That's how we should live. Yes, call for people to come to the prayer. Yes, I would like you to be Muslim. Absolutely, I'd love both of you to become Muslim. I know it's probably never going to happen. He's been my close friend for my entire Muslim life.
I'm too atheist.
But you know what I'm saying? That's as much as I should do. Invite you to Islam. If you say no, alhamdulillah. That should be the length of extent of ours. You know how Christians, sane Christians,
yes.
There are some crazy fuckers out there.
Yes.
That say, we'd like you to come to Christ. You say, no, thank you. Fair enough. And you can
carry on with your day.
And the problem being is, the bulk of the Muslim community are like me. I'd like to think that they say, if you don't want to come to Islam, alhamdulillah. But we are obliged, because this isn't a Muslim country, to obey the laws of the country. There are crazy motherfuckers who think we should change the law now. Mm-hmm. And they're the people I want to get rid of.
Yes.
Unquestionably.
I too want to get rid of them.
And anybody who says that they want to hang or murder or mistreat gays, alhamdulillah, fuck them out the country.
And I think you need to you kind of need to do something about that sooner rather than later, because all it's going to do is it's just going to
turn the people on the right of you crazy.
Yes. More and more people will just become crazy, and they will start to think that, well,
all my people are a problem.
We see it with the Henry Nowak thing.
Yeah.
It's right.
No,
there's too much of a problem. I'm against all of you.
Yeah.
Against all of you.
You see, the mad thing
which
is,
you really don't want.
No. The mad thing I see is the Henry Nowak problem was entirely preventable because the law fucked up. And we have to be angry at the law, not the Sikhs, who for 130 years, this is the single criminal problem that they've had.
It was, from that scenario, the only thing I could think of, it went horribly wrong due to how it was handled. And that was due to pure training on the police.
Oh, no.
I think it's the entire system itself.
Yeah, the system itself needs a fucking reset. The whole fucking
hence the
thing.
reason, like, the training that they've got has been insufficient for them to deal with that, which says something's wrong systemically.
The problem being is, you know the industry I'm in, and I've told you, I don't want to say it out publicly, I would lose my fucking licence. I would not be able to go to work if someone died in my care.
Yeah.
If it was an accident and I wasn't even at fault.
You'd probably still go to prison even if it was an accident.
No, not necessarily.
Oh.
No. I've had these conversations with policemen. If I was to lose my licence, I automatically lose my licence if someone dies in my care. So this is one of the reasons why my bosses tell me, if someone is having a life and death moment, you are not allowed to be their first aider. That's for the store that I work for, as I'm a contractor of, their duty of care comes to them. I have a duty of care to the staff for my job and the safety of customers if they're endangered. But if someone is actually having a cardiac arrest, someone's having a heart attack, I have to let the managers and the store members take care of it. And that's cruel because it's my license on the line. And that's something I have a massive problem with, because as a human being,
Is that down to training though?
yeah,
Because the fact
I'm told not to.
not me. Is it a case of fact of they've given you the lack of first aid training?
No. I have St John's ambulance.
Yeah.
I am fully qualified to deal with even with a collapsed lung, but because it could impact my license,
So it's purely down to legislation.
Legislational reasons. See, it's lapsed. It's lapsed now. I know I'd have to go and reapply for the St John's ambulance first aid trainer, which I was back in 16, 17. So he's definitely lapsed. It would have been about 22, 23. It would have fallen down by now. But sufficient to say, I am very, very qualified as a first aider. But because of my licence, I can't give first aid unless it's an actual staff member in the store that I operate on. It's very, very strict. Horribly fucking strict in that regard. And I think that's quite scary. I mean, where would you say, politically, the country needs to move forward? If you were to put a crystal ball, Count Daedalus, where would you say we're going to be at the next general election?
I'd probably say even in a worse state than we are right now.
You think so?
I don't think it's going to get much better. I think because there hasn't really been much of a change in the grand scheme of things since Tony Blair. We've kind of been the country.
You don't think reform? You don't think reform will get in?
I reckon they probably will, but I don't think anything realistically will change.
Is he still a neo-long?
I think reform is just we're the last chance to save the Blairite system. I don't think they're actually going to radically do anything, especially since they've got a bunch of Boris Johnson Tories who also didn't change anything.
Oh.
So I think it's just going to be more of the same. In the last election, I described them as this. The country is on a set of railway tracks. The Tories are either going to move at the speed limit, or Labour is going to just put the foot down. Keep going a little bit faster. And I think reform is just Tories 2.0. I think we're going to still stay on the train tracks. Not much we're just going to slow it down just a tiny bit, but we're not going to change anything drastic.
So you think we need to derail the train, basically, politically speaking, and fix the train tracks and fix the train and fix the train engine and fix the fucking passenger carts and fix everything. So do I. I mean, it's brutal to say that it needs, but my problem is I don't want a racist cunt doing it.
I don't know.
Because I think Rupert Lowe is a closet fucking racist.
I don't know how the thing is, I don't even know how you're going to realistically sell that to the public, because you basically have to go up there and say that, yeah, the entire system is fucked and we need to fix it, and it's going to hurt short term, but in the long term, it will be better for all of us.
You could say that. I think you underestimate how intelligent. Remember, 46% of the country are college leavers. I think you can have that conversation, Count.
With the right person saying it, I reckon it'll take.
Yeah, no, I do. I genuinely think that these conversations, what we're doing right now at the podcast, I think that is enough. I think that sociopolitically is enough for us to say we need to take the fucking train off the tracks. The bridge train needs to stop. The door needs to be closed. We need to fix everything in the house, even if it takes us a decade.
We need someone that takes charge, that comes into power.
And does the hard things.
And literally turns around, this is my plan. Discloses it to the nation, turns around and goes, this is my plan going forward. I want to redo this, redo that, redo that. And it just gets on with it.
And I'm not afraid to say to the billionaires, you will invest in the country or you'll get the fuck out of the country, because there will be billionaires who will take up the slack that you're leaving.
Yes.
There'll be someone else to fill your spot if you don't do it.
And I don't care you're a mate of the Tories. And I think that needs to be publicly said, that the billionaire class of Britain, the couple of hundred of them that we've got, need to be told you are in or you are fucking out. And that's the end of the conversation. One of my key falters that I have a problem with Nigel Farage is his back as a Thailand man.
Is it?
Yeah. In one of his biggest finances, where he gets his money from, is a Thailand crypto billionaire who has Thai citizenship. If you're British crypto billionaire, why the fuck are you living in Thailand?
There's an even bigger one. Is he his deputy, Zai Yusuf?
Yeah, I can't stand
He
it.
basically bought his way into that party. He gave a massive donation, and then that was it. You're second in command.
I can't stand that man so much.
Yeah.
He is one of those people who doesn't want to fix the problem, but just wants to be about of the power, and to show that reform are multicultural. They're not multicultural. They're closet racists. I mean, you can't take Cyrilla Braverman on board, a woman who hates her own people. She'd stop her own fucking grandparents coming to the country.
Was it her or was it Kemi Badenoch when they were in power? They actually lobbied for more immigration from their home nation. I think it might have been Kemi.
No, I don't actually think Kemi would be the kind of. But I
Rishi.
I actually like her.
I know Rishi Sunak did. Rishi, when Rishi came, he relaxed immigration controls on India, and I distinctly remember Kemi Badenoch relaxing immigration controls from Nigeria. I was like, interesting. Why are you doing that?
I fundamentally like Kemi Badenoch because she actually is an engineer. She wants to problem solve the country. I think her problem is there are too many snakes in her bed in her party.
The main one is the main person who got her a job, which is Michael Gove, who's a fucking treacherous rattlesnake himself.
Oh, that motherfucker! I don't like him because of how he was Boris Johnson's close friend, and that tarnishes me, in my opinion. On when anybody who is a close friend to Boris Johnson has no business being in power.
He wasn't just a close friend of Boris Johnson as well.
They were school friends, weren't they?
They were school friends, and he's also a massive Blair glazer. And for those who don't know, that is my arch nemesis, Tony Blair.
He should be in prison.
Prison.
No. Prison. We're British. Prison. We're not allowed. Me and you in the same. What we fantasize about hanging these bastards is never going to happen.
I think
realistically,
I have
even
to say
Prime Minister Daedalus would.
I have to say it. A prison sentence for that piece of shit would be far too humane.
I agree. But the country won't let you hang him.
Please.
So since the country
just one, please.
No, Boris. No, we put them both there. If we're going to hang politicians, him and Boris are going together.
Two.
Him and Boris.
There is one way you could do it.
High treason.
That was good.
Because that was taken out.
That was taken out by Blair.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Yeah.
One of the first things that he did, he got rid of high treason.
Treason, which carries the death penalty.
Which was death penalty. One of the first things he does when he gets rid of high treason.
So Prime Minister Daedalus' first act is to reintroduce
high treason. Vote for me, guys. Trust me.
Hang them all.
We're undoing the Blairite system. Step 1, high treason, gone. Right, you come over in there.
You know by the time we reinstate that, all them politicians would flee the country.
I was going to say there'd be 8.
There'd be so many of them fleeing the country.
Oh, I know.
I think that with them rats going out the door, I think that would send. I mean, send a message. I believe that Britain is very capable of turning this round. We've just got to be willing to do the hard work.
And with someone that's willing to do the hard work at the forefront.
We intend to go into politics. We really do.
He's planning on dragging me with him.
I'm planning on dragging both of you with me. If we get the platform, I will go into politics and I will take the fucking two of you with me.
Just stick me as Chancellor and I'll deal with the man.
Either you're going into immigration or you're the Prime Minister, so we can go at the background and fix the problems. Make him the Prime Minister. He's the pretty boy.
So you want me to be the guy that everyone directs all their rage at?
So we can fix the country, yes.
Hang on, if I'm the Chancellor, I'm going to get as equal amount of rage as you.
That's a good point, actually. Right,
Home Secretary, Prime Minister, Chancellor, you think the rage isn't going to be shared?
I'll just stand there and go, I'm fixing the problem.
If we're going to do this, I'll do it on one condition.
What's that?
Can I wear a cape?
Absolutely.
Done.
Absolutely.
Can I wear my Count Dooku cape?
Absolutely.
Yes, done.
Look, there's the raving, screaming Lord Such fucking party. The what's they called?
Monster Raving Loony?
Monster Raving Party. They're still around.
I know they are.
Still around.
I've been asked to do a video on their manifesto, actually. That'll be funny.
I think they're amazing. The fact that party still exists in our constitutional monarchy. There's something I think we should also talk about.
Well,
if the constitution,
if the government keeps turning around and sticking us on,
we can't have an unwritten one.
I think the unwritten one has left because the days of unwritten constitutions died when we had people like Boris Johnson and that cunt Cummings who said we don't have to leave Parliament. Even we're not. There's no constitutional reason for us to leave the 10 Downing Street. You know when he was falling down, and Cummings was telling everyone, "Oh, he doesn't need to leave. There's nothing in the constitution that requires us." And when you have people who are willing to worm like that, that's when you've got to have the decision to go.
It's annoying as well because I found Dominic Cummings quite interesting with all the shit that he's been basically admitting about his time with Boris Johnson.
And what scares me, that was a man who's friends with a eugenics person.
Yeah.
Scary motherfucker. Eugenics. That shit is evil. That's another level of evil that makes me fucking worried.
Yes.
Anybody who talks about eugenics is like, no, mate, we can't be friends.
Out. The fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, for our viewers, if you don't know what eugenics is, I absolutely ask you to take the time to look up the words eugenics and eugenics politics, and then you'll realise why Dominic Cummings should never have been given any access to power.
Mm-hmm.
Opinion on McSweeney. Do you think he was thrown under the bus, or do you think he was the Blairite?
No, I think he was the Blairite heir. He was literally coached by Mandelson.
Yeah. We had that opinion.
Mandelson. His nickname was the Prince of fucking Darkness. Like, for goodness sake, man. Weirdly, Alistair Campbell and Princess Tony Blair have been really quiet on Mandelson.
Yeah, no, because they
really interesting that, even though they were the big three.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they're all in the same boat?
100%.
I think they were all on Epstein's Island. I think if we ever...
Well, Tony Blair was in the Epstein files.
Yeah.
My girlfriend looked it up. She did a massive deep dive.
Wouldn't that be enough to put them on the high treason?
Yeah, absolutely. I personally think that...
I'm going to put a clause in the high treason laws. If your name is Anthony Charles Linton Blair, you are guilty of high treason. Sorry.
No. You just say if you're on the Epstein files, you will be investigated.
Yes.
That's if you are on the Epstein files, you will be investigated, no matter who you are. And that is the kind of politics you should have. Mm-hmm. You should be uncomfortable. You should be comfortable doing the uncomfortable work. And Britain has so much uncomfortable work that needs to be done as a country. There's just so much of it. The tax system, the road system, the fucking train system. Everything in Britain needs to be fixed. One of the key factors, what would you do with the builders who put cones out and spend 3 weeks fixing one pothole? There is a systemic problem.
I can relate to this because it happens in my area all the fucking time. The NIMBYs aren't going to like it. And the builders aren't going to like it either. 24-hour work. Rotating shifts. No, work does not stop until that fucking thing is fixed. Get as many people as you fucking need, work around the clock to get the fucking thing fixed.
This is what I don't get. You have that, yet the other week in our area, literally they've done the entire one road. They just went down in one night and just filled in all the potholes in one night.
Yeah.
You know why, don't you? I can't mention it. That's a Polish company. You hire a Pole to fix a problem.
They've done it straight away.
It's done. They don't fuck around the Poles. They're the hardest working.
I didn't even know it was happening. Friggin' went down one day, next day, gone.
I know.
Gone.
Because they did that down the main road going into Dursley.
Yeah.
Closed the main road to Dursley on a Saturday night going into Sunday. Yeah. Just one night, 37 potholes cleared.
That's how it should be.
No one's going down that fucking road in the countryside on a Saturday night going into Sunday.
Exactly. No, and it's just the most infuriating thing in the world. Like you see some of the really fucked up things that happen in like East Asia, like Japan or South Korea, like, where like an entire bridge or railway collapses. It's fixed within 48 hours.
No, it's not. No, I know what you're saying. It's fixed very, very quickly.
Very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Maybe not 48 hours, but the whole thing, it's like it didn't happen very quickly. But it takes.
This is why you need to bring Asian engineers.
It takes us like 6 weeks just to fix like 2 potholes. Like there's a street.
They should be fined. Those companies should be fined for taking longer than the
amount of times, like I say, the amount of times where I've driven down a street and there's traffic cones everywhere, there's machinery out, and you look at the workforce, they're just sat there just smoking a cigarette. It's like,
fucking infuriates me. It really does. It's one of those.
You put a clause in as you hire them. You ain't getting paid until the work's done and you got a 12 hour period.
That's already a clause. What you need to do is every day you go over your quoted time for solving this problem, you lose a percentage of your employment costs, something like that.
I don't even know why it is like that. Like, is it because of because unions, or is it?
No,
I genuinely don't know why they do it.
The brinkmanship in how contracts are negotiated between governments and councils has been haphazard and mismanaged for decades. So how Gloucestershire makes its contracts for roadworks is entirely alien to Essex or where you live or in London. Do you know what I'm saying? Each council, you need a national grid of repair works that deals with all the roads, deals with all the maintenance, and takes it out. Councils should not be maintaining roads.
No.
You see, this was a Tory gimmick to take the burden off the state, to make councils have council tax. I believe in abolishing council tax. I believe in, like I said, the 5 tax system will solve our country because we will build a centralised system for everything that is needed. I believe in more centralisation but for the intrinsical need of solving problems. So, a problem-solving integrated system. The devolution of power and costs, and then basically skirting the fucking problem.
It has made it massively over-bureaucratic, and then you get big fat cats taking huge salaries, and it's massive amounts of corruption. And
you just need to cut it.
It's a difficult one with centralisation as well, because on the one hand, I do agree. I just think of government incompetence.
And there should be criminal charges for politicians who fail.
Yes.
It's
not an easy job.
No, it's not an easy job. And
it should be a duty, not a career.
No, absolutely. And Chris once had an opinion, which I know wouldn't work. All parliamentarians should be on minimum wage until they fix their problems.
Living wage. And the only way you get a pay rise is if you meet what you promised.
I don't disagree.
I do disagree, because we wouldn't be able to get anything done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Or you could turn around and go, this is the minimum. This is the living wage. Say 30,000 a year. You're on 10 grand more. You get an extra 5 grand for every.
You get bonuses for everything that you achieve.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that you could get me behind.
You're slightly above the minimum wage.
Absolutely.
You're slightly above the minimum wage, and there's incentive to make sure that whatever you promised gets done. Instead of fact, hang on, I'll make sure that all the roads in Gloucester are pothole free for the next 5 years, and I get an extra 10 grand on my paycheck each year.
Yeah. And then he's chasing up the companies. He's chasing up the necessities to fix the country. Then your politicians are actually working for your people.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with
It's
you.
as much as I love to try and say your living wage to understand
Yeah, no,
what
you
it's
can't.
like. Yeah.
Politicians
it probably
wouldn't be able
would go through the floor, but if you try to go, right, the minimum wage for this area is 30,000, so you're on 40, and you get a pay increase for every objective you complete what's under your leadership.
Yeah, no, that incentivizes them to fix the problems there.
Yeah.
I would say that this has reached.
I would eliminate second house benefits as well for them frigging
No, absolutely.
politicians.
No politician should be having second house benefits.
Nope, not at all.
No, fuck no. And more importantly, they're declared second jobs. You know they don't pay that much tax on them, don't you?
Mm-hmm. No, they pay the same tax as everybody else. It's straight off the bat.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just second incomes for politicians and subsidisation for beer in the fucking goddamn.
No, fuck off.
Oh my god,
Fuck
that
off.
fucking enraged me so much.
They earn so much money. They don't need any of this. I would go as far as to say that no, you can't even have expenses.
No, I would for travel to and from Parliament.
That's fine. I accept that.
Because remember some of
To and from Parliament.
Because
remember many of these MPs are coming from the top of the country.
To and from Parliament, and maybe if you have to go abroad for like a meeting and a trade agreement, other things, no, fuck off. Stick it up your fucking arse.
Yeah, not food allowances. None of
that. No. You earn more than enough fucking money. You can handle that. Yeah. I do not believe you if you say you can't.
But this is the point. Politician is an excellent financial means if you're a fat cat.
Always voting to give themselves pay increases. That should be illegal as well.
Pay increases should be put onto referendums.
Yes.
We're
a landslide in favour of no.
that's where, as it incentivises them to get a pay rise, go around to 40,000 a year. You can only get the pay rise if you've got evidence that you've proved your work.
And more importantly, you
and then it's then reviewed by 5 different people outside of your party.
Oh, this could be you make fucking politics hard.
No, because then if you do it outside your party, there's no bias. You get
less corruption.
Because you ain't doing your job. Why ain't you doing your job?
I think it should be down to the local constituency.
You would put the local constituencies of whether or not they get pay raised.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because
it's outside the party.
Because they're going. An MP, in theory, is you are being sent by your constituency to represent you.
Well, this is why we need a written and codified constitution.
Yes.
As a constitutional monarchy. Are you a monarchist?
I'm not a monarchist or a Republican. I don't have a stance. I get asked this all the time. I generally do not have a stance on the royals. I just don't care about them.
See, the difference is I actually like the royals as people. They're lovely human beings.
Except one in particular.
No, that motherfucker should be executed. No, that motherfucker should be deported and executed. That kiddie fiddling bastard.
Yes.
Unquestionably. Andrew should be. And and one of the key reasons that people give the king a lot of shit.
You tried to have treason. He's on that list straight off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
His Majesty the King. This is where I give King Charles his due. He tried to have Andrew kicked out of the fucking.
Yes, he did
Multiple times
have to give him
during his mother's reign. He tried to get Andrew thrown the fuck out. We've got to give our king his credit there. He knew the shit was going on. Mm-hmm. Charlie fucking knew. King Charles knew that fucker was dirty and needed to be kicked out the door during the Queen's reign. And the Queen wouldn't have it because obviously she's his son.
Yeah.
And that you from a mothering point of view, you understand where the Queen's coming from.
It's one of those things that I've had to gradually accept.
Yeah.
Because a while back I was thinking to myself, there is no circumstances where I'd ever be able to put up with that. But speaking to my girlfriend about it, she's very much it's a motherly thing.
Yeah, it is. You can understand where they're... And the eldest brother, I do think Charlie was right in fucking him off.
Yes.
As quickly as he could. And I do give the king credit for that. And I think that Meghan Markle and the spare, what's your opinion of them?
Well, Charlie and Meghan... Not Charlie. Harry and Meghan.
Yeah.
I miss old Harry.
Yeah.
I miss old Harry that went to parties dressed as a Nazi. I thought that was fun. I thought he was fucking hilarious.
Oh my God!
I thought he was fucking hilarious.
Controversial scumbag.
I don't give a he was a joker. I don't care. I will stand by this. He was a funny guy. What Meghan's done just watered him down and yankified him almost. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I do not like it.
I'm not a fan of her.
No, I'm not a fan of her.
I'm not a fan of her.
I'm not a fan of her at all. And don't get me wrong, that is not an endorsement of the mid-century Germans before anyone takes that out of context.
Maybe.
No, not even a maybe. Not even a maybe. It was just
because it was so controversial for a royal to do.
Yes, it was so controversial and it was so funny. It's the fact that it's not just the fact that anyone's done it, it's the fact that he's the fucking royal that's done it. I just thought, my fucking God, that's hilarious.
It is. To be fair, I just think I don't think that there's a road back for them.
No, I don't.
Speak. Once William gets to the throne, he's fucked.
Yeah.
I think that he has to have a U-turn change between him and William. He has to fix his relationship with his brother, or it's game over for them, relatively speaking. I personally think that Meghan and it has been a detriment to Harry as well. I think I have to agree with you on that. I think that the current Crown Prince, I think, is a bit nasty to his brother. And I don't know if that's because of Meghan, but I think
there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't actually know.
Yeah, it probably is.
I think it's drama.
As an Irishman, there's no way I could give up one of my family members.
No.
And one of my sisters is an absolute barefaced neo-Nazi. Let's be fair. She despises the fact I'm Muslim, but I would never disown her, and she's my flesh and blood, and that's just the way it is. So I think there's a lot more that's going on that you have to get to the point where you need to disown someone. That's where I think you have a problem. And I do. I have a problem with the way that my middle sister is. Not the baby. I love her. She can't do wrong. I carried her out the fucking hospital. I don't care. She was always on my shoulders. She's an angel. But my middle sister, entirely different subject. To be quite fair, I find that ostracisation of family is probably the last thing you should do in anything. So if he has got to the point of ostracisation, there's got, as you said, there's got to be things in the background that has caused the problem. What's your opinion about the rest of the extended royals?
I don't really have an opinion on them, I must admit.
No?
Like
Princess Anne, I like.
I like Anne.
Because she's one of them solid... She reminds me of a younger Elizabeth.
Yeah, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, actually, that Anne is literally her mother's daughter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wasn't it... Didn't she... wasn't there an attempted kidnapping of her once, and she just basically beat the shit out of them?
I think there... I don't know if she beat the shit out of them, but I know there was an attempted kidnapping.
Yeah, attempted kidnapping is like... No, not happening.
She's a lady that's seen in our county a lot.
Yes.
She's very much in the Gloucestershire area.
I personally think it should have been her instead of Charles, but hey-ho.
Oh, I like you. I don't know. I don't know how Britain would look. She wouldn't tolerate some of the politicians.
No, she wouldn't. No, she
Boris would not have been sworn as Prime Minister. He would have been told to fuck off.
She would have probably broken her. She would have probably broken royal protocol and said, "No, not you, not you. You made my mum fucking sit on her own when my dad died. You can fuck off."
God, yeah, no, Boris was probably yeah. Boris is a cunt. I think Anne wouldn't have tolerated him. To be fair, I do like most of the royals. I'm quite royalistic, relatively speaking, because when you're into history, you would be thinking of it. You can kind of forgive the historian for that. I like the royals because they are a link to our ancestry.
Yes.
They are a living link to our ancestry.
I do like that aspect. Like I say, I'm not a Republican, but I'm not a monarchist either. I've just never really had a stance on them. They're just there for me.
What's your opinion, Chris? You've never really told me.
People have asked
Not
me.
really fussed with. I see them more as an example of what Britain could be if we actually.
So you
in a
think they're up
certain way.
stiff upper lip and behaviour as well? Okay, yeah.
It's more of a what Britain could come again, and it's also a reminder of what we were in the past.
Yeah, I respect that. I respect that.
Until some of the members turn around and tarnish that.
No, Andrew needs to be done.
Yeah.
There is nobody in the country that supports Andrew.
But I do also hold them in high regard, because
Weirdly.
if you're high in such a high position, you need to set the absolute most highest example.
Weirdly, I saw a poll a couple of months back where it turned out that Andrew was more popular than Keir Starmer.
The fuck?
How the hell?
That's how hated Keir Starmer
That tells you how bad everyone hates.
That's what I mean. How
There were
but how-
people that somehow there were people in the country that think Andrew did nothing wrong. There's more of them than there are people that actually like Keir Starmer.
If he leads the Labour Party in the next election, it'll be a wipeout, won't it?
Yeah.
I
I'm all here for it because I can't stand Labour. I fucking hate them.
think they can turn it round.
I don't think they can.
I think they can if they get their shit together. But I think that's a good point to end our podcast for today. What do you think? Yeah, you ready? I am, as always, John, Sean, or Yucca. Depends on who you're asking.
I'm Chris. Hope you have a smashing day.
This is the Noble,
I'm Count Daedalus.
and it has been a pleasure having him on our podcast. This will not be the last time we have him.
Definitely
I can
not.
guarantee you that, because I have deeply enjoyed these long conversations, and it has gone on really well.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.